Welcome to this month's Community Wise podcast. I'm Holly Long, your host, and we are coming to you live from KC G.I.F.T. And it's been a while since we've talked. A lot's been going on in the world. Things have shifted, good and bad, but we will always continue to thrive because that's what we care about is thriving communities. And so today, we are going to talk to Brandon Calloway, the founder and CEO of KC G.I.F.T. And this podcast is going to highlight communities that still thrive despite whatever, especially our current landscape. So I would like to welcome Brandon. Brandon, welcome to our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us be here in this beautiful space. What does KC G.I.F.T stand for? I know what it stands for, but what do the people don't know?
Yeah.
Some people do.
Yeah. GIFT stands for Generating Income for Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously the overall acronym that tries to get at the core and essence of our mission. It's not just about what's happening right now. It is about what our actions today mean for the future.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You want to talk to us a little bit about how did KC G.I.F.T even come about? And I know we've talked about it in some of our other videos, but maybe this audience didn't have the pleasure of looking at our Thrive videos. So do you mind sharing?
Yeah, absolutely. So back in 2020, I was working at another nonprofit, and pandemic hit, so everybody's at home, and so me and a couple of my co-founders were actually in a Facebook group, BOBKC, Black Owned Businesses Kansas City, and so in that group, one of my co-founders made a post about how frustrated he was in not seeing Black businesses and Black communities, and he was saying, it's 15,000 of us right here in this Facebook group. If we all put in $10 a month, then we can grow Black businesses ourselves. We can make it happen. We don't have to wait on anybody else. At the time, I'd also been thinking about that we needed an organization that was a central organization to support the challenges that happen in the Black community, kind of overarching.
Yeah.
And so, the two of us connected on the post that he made, the idea that I had. Then we brought in a third co-founder, and Cornell, and the three of us just got together and decided to do it. If we succeeded, we succeeded, and if we failed, we failed. But the one thing that we weren't going to do is nothing.
Exactly. Because when you don't do nothing, you complicit, right? You just So
exactly.
Okay, so y'all did something about it, and then what was the end result? Like the initial end result before y'all got here?
So we did a whole bunch of stuff. So we started May 5th of 2020, and we got to work. We were really real excited. We started putting all of our paperwork together, getting all of our back office stuff together, and that led us to a fundraising campaign for individuals, and we really, it was person to person, inbox, like it was like high touch, high legwork type of fundraising, and so within 3 months, so we started in May. By August, we had $11,000 in the bank, and we took $10,000 of that and we gave it to Ruby Jeans. And so within 3 months of just starting the organization, we were able to actually make good, do exactly what we said, what we had been telling people and promising people that we were going to do. That we were there to give grants to Black businesses, help them grow and thrive so they can create jobs. We were really, really, we talked about, do we want to do this as a loan? Do we want to do this as like an equity stake? Do we want to take a percentage of the company? But it was really important to us. We know Kansas City is one of 21 hyper-segregated cities, that it is hyper-segregated on purpose. And the cause, the reason, the rationale is that money was the resource that was drained from the Black community
for sure
for decades and decades, and so to us, it didn't make sense for us to use the same tool, so being loans. when it came to home ownership as well as just business loans, back in the 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s
right.
and 60s.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you were on the east side, you couldn't get a loan specifically because you were on the east side and you were black. And so, looking at that, we see depreciation over time and appreciation over time. And if we were going to do something that was going to be an actual drastic step forward, then we would have to go further than just providing loans. And so we settled on grant capital, because that would be the real accelerator that's necessary. And so within 3 months, we were able to actually make good on that and do that. And so it's been 5 years now.
Dang, time flies.
It do.
When you busy.
It do. And so we've been able to do 1.8 million to around 75 different black-owned businesses.
Say that for the people.
Yeah. $1.8 million in these 5 years for 75 black-owned businesses, resulting in 135 new jobs created on the east side of Kansas City. And then the other thing that we do is every time we give somebody a grant, we give them, all of this technical assistance. So we got business coaching, accounting, marketing, and legal. Yeah. And so we pay for that too. And so we, 1.8 million directly in grants to these black-owned businesses, and then another 1 million in all of this technical assistance specifically for those same 75 businesses as well.
Okay. So now we're going to parlay a little bit. Considering the current climate we're living in, and I'm going to just put it like this. Elections have consequences, good or bad.
Yeah.
We are where we are. And we see, I'm going to use my words very carefully at this lovely platform LISC has given me. We see a lot of some shifting. Okay. I'm going to play it safe for a second. Not long. We see some shifting in priorities about, it seemed like in the pandemic, like you said, everybody was supporting black-owned businesses or brown businesses or whatever I have a list of like 3 pages of words I am not supposed to say that may be flagged. So I am trying my best to tiptoe in the raindrops, but it is what it is. So
I don't have a list. I don't know what the words are. So I'm just going, I'm going to be saying stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Because this is just a conversation between you and I, and then the world's going to be in on it. DEI has been pushed back. And statistically, we know that who is the direct recipient of DEI programs are white women.
Right.
But now that we are in this world where we have to be creative, because black people are not, we're not new to this. We're true to this. Like, we know how to make things work. You all have come with an answer, not even an answer. It is what it is. It's generations that have been doing this. How to continue to support black-owned businesses. And you guys had a LinkedIn post a couple of weeks ago, which has prompted this conversation, which prompted our executive director to talk to me. And then we called you on three-way and hemmed you up. Talk to me about that post. Talk to me about what y'all were thinking. What are y'all?
We just said a lot of stuff.
What we say? As the end result was Kansas City Black-Owned Business Guide.
Oh, that.
How do you feel about all of this? What's your process? Because I know that's always been at the forefront of what y'all do.
Yeah.
And it's nothing new.
Yeah. So, a few different things on this.
Yeah.
One, you cannot legislate good behavior, right? You can't, and so you can hide it and mask it with legislation. You can hide and mask intent with legislation sometimes, but you can't really legislate good behavior. Sure. And so while we've seen a slew of executive orders, a whole bunch of legislation coming out, it's not changing people's minds. It is
because it already was there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, one other thing that I've seen and noticed, and it's really, I don't know, it's funny, it's frustrating, but people, what causes change in the right direction,
For
right?
sure.
A critical mass of individuals pushing for change
For sure.
in that direction. And so while the executive orders and the policies and all of that, that it absolutely matters. It has real implication. It is a reminder to people that in order for us to have a more equitable, America, Kansas City, the block and street that we live on,
For sure,
it takes personal action, right?
Yeah.
It requires you looking at your avenues of power, whether that be political power and where you're putting your vote, your economic power and where you're spending your dollar, your philanthropic power, and where you're donating to. Because no matter if you're a millionaire, if you got, $100 in the bank, anybody can be a philanthropist, right?
You're right about it. Pause. I just want to shout out the Black church, because that's where I learned how to be a philanthropist. Like literally, the age of 2, collecting money for missionary offering, like literally or fundraising. Like I feel like that's where a lot of us have learned. Like it's just fancier words.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, and so just our role back in 2020 after the murder of George Floyd was helping people see an actionable way to use their power in making a change towards the type of world, city, street that they wanted to see, right? It is also our role again to remind people that no matter what, when things are going good, when we got satisfactory people in office, we still need to be prepared for when the pendulum shifts back, right? And so continuing to take that personal action. And so we created the Kansas City Black Business Guide, which is a collection of businesses. So it's businesses we've given grants to, businesses that have come into the business center, businesses that we have worked with or done business with. And some of them are just businesses that we know of just throughout the city. It's not even exhaustive. There's industries that aren't represented on the guide. There are businesses, there are industries that are represented that aren't fully exhaustive of all of the businesses in there. But one of the things that we wanted to do was show people, hey, we got a few questions about the Target backlash, right? And so with Target getting rid of their DEI program. So one, we've already had businesses that we work with that were in Target. We've already, before all of this, we already knew about the challenges that businesses were having with being successful in Target anyway. And so when it came down to people talking about, well, we don't want to support Target anymore, where else can we support? People started turning to us for local Black-owned businesses that they can go to, and so we wanted to put out a whole list that really helped people say, if you need just basic household goods, you need luxury items, whatever you need, it doesn't have to be a big deal that we can't go to Target anymore. Exactly. You can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you not to go to Target. I'm not telling you not to go to Target.
However, there is power in your dollar.
Yeah. That choice is yours. You can literally do whatever you want. And if you choose to use that economic power in a way that that helps to increase this critical mass of people acting in a way of trying to build the community that we actually want to see and need to see, then that Black Business Guide is a list of businesses that helps you be able to go on about your everyday life and economic activity while still supporting Black-owned businesses.
Where can people find, where do we go from here? One, where can we find the guide? Is the guide, I'm sure it's all digital. You don't have, but what I'm thinking about is the older crew. And it seems like you have an answer to that.
So the Black Business Guide is all digital, right? And so it's on all of our socials.
Yeah.
You can find it on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook.
Yeah.
It's all digital.
So with that being said, I know some of our church leaders are listening to this. So for our older population that's at the church, I'm gonna need y'all to go print it out. I'm gonna need you to have it in your vestibules out after church so the people can grab it. Okay. Okay. Sorry, Brandon. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And so that was that. But coincidentally, because we, we support Black business all year round, all the time, no matter what the political climate is.
365 days a week, because I said in our last podcast in Black History.
Yep.
You Black all the time.
All the time. All the time. They don't let you forget that you are either.
No. Not at all.
Yep. And so, there's been a new kind of fad about passports.
Yeah.
Like, you get a passport, go around the city.
Yeah.
And so we created a Kansas City Black-owned dining passport that will literally be out next week.
Ooh.
And so it's 13 Black-owned restaurants in that passport. You can take it, go to the different restaurants in there. You can rate your experience. You can put what your favorite item was, and really kind of just have fun going around and supporting the restaurants. And so if you have the book, each page has a QR code, and so you can scan, see the menu beforehand.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. I think we even have a recommended item in there.
Yeah.
For each thing. So we will have those. You can pick them up at Kansas City Gift. We can also have them at LISC.
Hey.
And so people can come to LISC and pick them up. And then they'll also be at those 13 restaurants. So if you go into one of those restaurants, you'll be able to actually take the passport and then use that to go around to other restaurants.
That's dope. You were saying, we were talking maybe offline, that creating wealth and just not even wealth, but like, yes, we know Kansas City is been designed to be the way that it is, geographically, racially, all that. But one thing that translates both of that is that economic power matters. And whether you live wherever, like for instance, we live in Lee Summit, my husband and I, it was his idea, not mine, but here we are. But we are intentional about where we spend our money. And so talk to us a little bit more about, say you don't really know, you have an intention, you want to help and you want to be supportive, but you don't really know where to start. And, we have these guides, we have the digital guide, we have the passport. Just talk to us a little bit more about the intention behind it and making sure people really understand how their dollars work.
Yeah. So the question I'm really hearing about the importance and the overall potential impact of supporting Black-owned businesses.
That's right? It. And that generational wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh. That's a loaded question, though.
Well, I did a lot of traveling recently.
Yeah.
And so as I was trying, this should be a short answer, but I'm sorry, it's going to be this long little story.
And I need it to be.
Yeah. So as I was traveling, I was doing solo trip. We was talking a little bit earlier about
Thailand.
Thailand, but just when I take breaks, and so
because Brandon doesn't take breaks.
Well, it's harmony, and
that's what he says.
And
I wonder what his family would say.
Yeah. So I did this thing where I did a solo trip to Philly, just walked around and was in Philly, seeing stuff, having fun, enjoying myself. I went to Miami, and then I actually did like a staycation 1 week here in Kansas City of just like, well, what's all the stuff that's around. And so while I'm living life and having fun, I also always look for what does economic development look like here? What's the history of oppression in this area? And so when I got to Philly, I went to this museum, stumbled across this dude, James Martin. And long story short, he wasn't born a slave. He was born in like the 1700s, and Philly was a free city, and so he was born, near slavery, but he wasn't born a slave. Um, but he was born black.
Yeah.
In the 1700s.
That floated right there.
Yeah. He created he started working at a shipyard. He figured out a way. He invented a new type of a sail. That invention got him a lot of money. He bought the shipyard. After he bought the shipyard, he started hiring and employing black people, white people. He was a black man in the 1700s that hired white people. Right? Wow. He became part of the abolitionist movement. Yeah. He opened, I think, one of the first black churches in Philly, one of the first black schools in Philly, and became, kind of a civil rights activist. Yeah. Right here in Kansas City. So if you go to Independence, there's a school called Young School. Yeah. You familiar with Young School? You know Hersham Young? And so Hersham Young was born a slave. Yeah. And he was able to work and pay for his freedom, and then pay for his wife's freedom, and then he created a wagon building company in Independence. So he built wagons near the Oregon, near the Oregon Trail. Yeah. At the height of that time. And so my man made a lot of money. Yes, he did. Right. And he also created one of the first black churches in Independence. They built Young School. Yeah. He became an activist. Yeah. First black billionaire in Miami. Can't remember the young man's name at the moment, but you see where this story is going. There's a trend, right? He in Miami during the civil rights movement, when they said black people can't use the good beaches, right? He bought a beach. He bought a beach, and specifically it was the beach for black people to be able to go to, and then also began join the civil rights movement. For sure. Why is it important to support small businesses, to support black businesses? Entrepreneurship is a path to liberation and equality. Absolutely. Money is power. So much so that a black man in the 1700s can buy a shipyard, begin to employ white people, and have the same, nearly the same type of economic power and influence as the founders of that era, right? And so times change and shift, and while the challenges of the past are not the same challenges of the present, we do still have challenges of the present, and entrepreneurship. So identifying those businesses, supporting those businesses, just so that they can grow and be successful, creates a whole nother entity with the economic influence to be a really big part of that critical mass of people that we need to move the country into the direction that we need to go. Yeah. Right. And so a problem like systemic racism feels like global warming. Right? It does. It's a problem so big that we often feel like, well, that's for somebody else. There's no possible way anything that I do will influence that. So let me not worry about it. Right. And
until it comes to your doorstep.
Right. But the truth is that by supporting black-owned businesses with your dollars, by supporting black-led nonprofits on the ground that are actively doing the work in the community, by with your dollars as well, by spreading their message and talking about them and saying, hey, have you heard of this new restaurant? Have you heard of this new organization? Helping to increase that circle. All of those things are things that help increase support, that help actually move us into the type of society that we want to see. So when people are looking at how can I take action and how can, if I go and eat here, is that really gonna do anything to move, move the needle? And what I tell people, so we say if 15,000 people donate $10 a month, we can close the racial wealth gap in Kansas City, right? Because if one person is donating $10, if it's just me and I'm donating $10, then I'm probably not gonna have a whole lot of impact. But if I take my $10 and I got 100 more people or 1,000 more people, and we all put that together, now like we are making a significant difference in this community.
Yeah. Whew, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And what I want to say, while we are promoting Black businesses, and what I often find people having like, well, why can't we if I just do this, then that means I can't go here. To your point, like you can still shop at Target, but also be very conscious of where you spend your money because it matters. And so, all that to say, yes, systemic racism is an issue, and I don't think that two things can be true at the same time. You can still support, and we're not, now we've gotten to this phase of life with the current landscape that we all are changing our DEI statements, and well, at least some organizations are, and some organizations are walking back all of that, like we talked about. But two things can still be true. You can still support Black-owned businesses or brown businesses or, whatever kind of business, but you can still also support other businesses as well. It's just being intentional. And I think that is the part that I feel like has been, is a wedge builder between people. Like you can't have one without the, or you can't do this and that. Well, just because you do this does not necessarily mean that like you don't want like world, equality or, I don't know.
No,
the world is so.
I feel you. The supporting Black businesses and is not the same as supporting segregation.
It's
right?
not, and I hate that the world has. Okay.
Yeah. And, you can, because like I said, we're not saying don't go to Target.
No.
What we saying is that if you have the opportunity, if you have the opportunity to support a Black-owned business, your needs align with their offering.
Absolutely.
And it is it is still relatively convenient for you to do, right? If you need,
even if it's not convenient.
Well, if you need batteries, you need AAA batteries.
That's right.
And you driving down the street and you happen to be right next to a Target. And so I am not suggesting that you pull over, you Google what Black-owned businesses sell AAA batteries. You find that out. You drive 45 minutes across the city to try to go get like that. That's not a suggest. That's not logical. Right. And so logical support of Black-owned businesses looks like identifying your needs, being intentional about finding a Black-owned business that actually has an offering that aligns with your needs. Because we, so I said we support Black businesses on the east side of Kansas City, right? Sure. And it's not that we are supporting Black businesses on the east side so that we create a whole new, economically viable, thriving east side with a whole bunch of rich and wealthy Black people, and we telling everybody else stay out and this is our stuff.
Exactly. That's not what it is.
It's not what it is. It's where is the highest concentration of Black poverty right now? It's on the east side. Well, we need to do something about that. And as illustrated through the stories of the 3 Black men that were able to become civically active and engaged after achieving economic success, we know that by supporting black businesses on the east side, we create, an economic engine. We create a bunch of, potential economic drivers to have the type of an east side that we want to have.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that, we don't want black businesses on the west side of Kansas City. Doesn't mean that we don't want black businesses in Lee Summit. In a perfect world, it would, we wouldn't be a hyper segregated city.
Exactly.
Right.
And you're not asking, if you're not black, you can't support.
Right.
Like, no, that is so.
Yep, not at all. And there's businesses that we support, that, partner with businesses that are not black owned businesses. We have businesses that support us through, all different types of initiatives that are not black owned businesses. It is, I got asked a question. I've only been asked this question once. I've spoken a lot.
Yeah.
And once, and it was really genuine, sincere. Somebody asked me, "Would we not have? So if we doing this, you guys are doing this, would we not have been better off staying segregated?" And it was a real genuine question. He didn't mean no harm by it. He didn't mean no harm by it. He was older gentleman, and he was sincere.
Okay.
And my answer to him was that it's not necessarily about the segregation at the moment. The segregation created the economic gap.
Absolutely.
And that is what it is about, right? And so if we would have stayed segregated, what we're really talking about is appreciation and depreciation.
That's it,
right? Money didn't go into the east side, and the east side depreciated. Money did go into the west side and every other area of Kansas City, and it appreciated. And so if we would have stayed segregated, it just would have been way worse.
Yeah.
The depreciation would have still happened.
Yeah.
The appreciation would have still happened.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been a benefit.
Yeah.
And so the goal is we are tackling this economic gap that was created and driven by by segregation, appreciation, depreciation. And so by addressing this, we first got to address this. We got to address this with the overall ultimate goal of of symbiosis, right?
Yeah.
We Kansas, it should not be a point of pride that Kansas City is one of 21 hyper segregated cities, right? And that as other cities have fallen off the list, Kansas City has persisted and stayed on the list, right? It should not be a point of pride. And being intentional about supporting black-owned businesses is not being intentional about supporting segregation. It is being intentional about creating the economic opportunity that we want to see, so that people have the potential economic mobility to live and can afford to live wherever they want to live in the city. If you supporting black businesses on the east side of Kansas City, we expect we see jobs created. We see when jobs are created and quality paying jobs, we see a decrease in poverty. When poverty goes down, crime goes down, right? The property values go up. School funding, school education goes up, right? Supporting black businesses on the east side creates a better Kansas City for everybody. Whether I live in Leewood, Lee Summit, or Liberty, that is good. That is good for the economic growth and viability of Kansas City as a whole.
So 2 more things. One, LISC now has taken a holistic approach. Not now. We've always had a holistic approach of how we look at our mission with, economic development, financial stability, which now is income and wealth building, and asset building, and affordable housing, and how all of those working together add into a greater city.
Yeah.
And what you said literally just hit the nail on the head. How all of those working together, it is something that the whole community, wherever you live, would truly benefit from. So I appreciate you for the vision and the execution that you guys have come up with. I'm going to hit you with one more question.
Okay.
What does it look like in the next couple of years? What does the world look like for you?
What does the world look like for me?
In your perfect world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's take that. Not in your perfect world, but in your world, how do you know you've did your best and accomplished your purpose in driving economic development in Kansas City East Side in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
That in the next 5 to 10 years, it looks like I would love to see an additional $10 million that we have been able to deploy into the East Side.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see 500 to 1,000 jobs that have been created on the East Side of Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of that is that we play a role, but we're not the only players, right? And so I would love to continue to see small Black developers, creating affordable, single family homes, mixed income,
Mm-hmm.
housing. A east side that actually looks respectable, that looks like it has the level of investment that it deserves.
It deserves.
And that we can say that we have supported a, a, a couple of hundred businesses, and if even 5% of them grow to become significant employers, meaning that they're employing 20, 30, 50 people, then I can say that we've been really intentional about finding quality Black owned businesses, providing them with wraparound support, helping them grow so that they can become that resource to the community. When we've done that, I might be satisfied.
Might.
I might.
I like that.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
Well, as they always say, forward marching. We have to keep moving on.
Yeah.
That is what historically we have been known for. We have thrived. Our community has thrived in some pretty dismal circumstances.
Yeah.
And
people have been telling us what we can't do for hundreds and hundreds of years, and somehow we still been able to thrive, be successful, and do all of these amazing things. So
all the things.
I would guess we're gonna be good.
I think so. Well, happy Black History Month to you. We are talking to Black history right now. We have talked about that in past podcasts, that Black history isn't always just like the doom and gloom. It is the celebration of community. And you, sir, and your co-founders and everyone who works here are doing y'all's part in Black history. So we appreciate you. We appreciate being your partner, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate y'all coming here. Appreciate the support that LISC has given Gift, and not just like financial support, and just the council, like literally amplifying our message and truly believing in the work that we do.
For sure. Hopefully there's more. Actually, there will be more as the years come by. So thank you.
Thank you.